Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books presents Rush by Lisa Lang Blakeney. Narrated by Brooke, Hayden, and Jeremy York. 1. Mia, University of Miami. There's something about the golden crackle of an enormous bonfire that I'm drawn to, yet also frightens me. Perhaps it's the dazzling flicker of the flames or the powerful feeling that grows inside my chest as I watch the luminous flames grow in height with each log thrown on the pyre. Something about it seems so ominous. Maybe in a past life I was a witch who danced in the moonlight in nothing but her birthday suit, but tonight I dance with all of my teammates around the flames in joyful anticipation of our playoff game tomorrow against our rival, Florida State. It's so much fun to let loose after 2 weeks of intense preparation for one of the most important volleyball games of our lives. Not only do we want to win, but there will be a scout at the game for the U.S. Olympic team, and playing in the Olympics has always been my dream. You're like a Wiccan minus the flowy white dress spinning around the fire like that. I spread my arms even wider as I twirl around the bonfire in my bare feet, laughing boisterously at my teammate Pearl. You know I love to dance. This is the best stress reliever before a big game. I grow dizzy and almost fall to the moist Miami sand beneath my feet when my best friend Rush catches me just in the nick of time. Gotcha. I grin goofily when I see his stern face looking down at me, while many of the other girls around the fire swoon. Rush is a big deal at our university. He plays tight end for the Hurricanes and is one of the more popular players to fantasize about. All those nights at the gym are paying off, I say, impressed. You caught me with one arm and it's not even shaking. Pearl plops herself into the sand and gawks at my unassuming friend like most girls do here at school whenever Rush is around. You're going to break your neck one day, he fusses. Where are your sneakers? Ha! You sound like my pawpaw. You need to be careful. You could step on a cracked seashell or a freaking beer bottle and put a hole in your foot. Then there'll be no playoff game in your future. I ignore my curmudgeon of a friend. He's a worrier by nature and isn't the best with social graces and niceties, but I know he means well. Isn't the fire magnificent? I ask him. Yes, the fire is big, he answers dismissively. I can totally feel my ancestors sending me bountiful vibes tonight, Rush. We are going to kill it tomorrow. We're going to crush Florida State, I say loud enough for everyone to hear. Yeah! My teammates collectively holler back. Woohoo! Of course you're going to win, Rush affirms. You're the best team in the region. You're going to be at the game, right? I have my own game to get ready for. I have to practice. Rush Bichetti, I can't believe you. What do you want me to do, Mia? You know Coach doesn't make exceptions about practice, even when it comes to you. He'll bench me if I don't show up. I met Rush my freshman year, while we were both recruited to the university on athletic scholarships. Let's just say he has always been a lot more precious to the college than I ever was. Football players are like gods to this place and are treated as such. It only took me a second to understand the athletic hierarchy once I stepped inside the football team's athletic dorm. It was like a damn Four Seasons hotel compared to our accommodations, which looked more like a tidy Motel 6. I was invited over by another ball player, an older sophomore who probably wanted to get inside my pants that day, but once I started raising hell about the differences in the dorms and the privilege I was seeing, like free vending machines for them while ours were coin-operated, he was completely turned off. He shook his head and walked away, wanting no parts of my equality for all hissy fit. Rush, on the other hand, was interested. What's wrong with your dorm? He asked, genuinely curious. Do you want to see the hovel they've got the volleyball queens of this university staying in? Sure, I'm down. From that moment forward, the two of us became friends and kindred spirits. We would grab lunch often and go to each other's games for support. We'd often sit on campus and talk about our favorite classes or our least favorite professors. We were an unlikely pair, sort of like the odd couple. He was quiet and focused, and I was bubbly and all over the place. He came from a solid two-parent family, and I was from an emotionally unavailable single mom. He seemed to ace his classes with little effort, and I had to study throughout the night just to pass a chapter quiz. He held people at a distance, and I always gave people too much credit. But something about our friendship works. People have never understood it, but I'm smart enough to know that you don't meet many people like Rush in a lifetime, which is why I have always valued our friendship and definitely depend on it. And while I'd never say this out loud, because I know it would make him feel guilty, it makes me nervous that Rush won't be at one of the most important games of my career. He's my good luck charm. When Rush comes to our games, I know there will be lots of loud claps and cheers for us because when anyone from the football team attends our matches, the groupies are sure to follow. That means we'll have a large crowd of spectators, which is always fuel for an athlete's motivation. More importantly, though, Rush is my biggest fan. If he's not going to be there tomorrow, it will feel like an essential part of the team will be missing. I grab a bottle of 100% cranberry juice out of the cooler of beer and hand it to him. You thirsty? Wow, I thought there'd only be beer here. You volleyball chicks are drunks. You know I wouldn't forget that you're the most disciplined football player in the entire university, so I bought you some juice. He knows that using disciplined is my code word for describing how regrettably predictable he is. Throughout our years here on campus, he's been known to be the fun police. He's pulled me away from more frat parties than I care to remember, and away from school clubs that, in his words, were nothing but a distraction. Only the disciplined players get into the pros, Bird. I know, but you only live once, and if I want to drink a beer before the game, I'm going to have one. It ain't going to kill me, I retort. I'm sure plenty of Olympians drink a beer or two. Why do you call her Bird? Pearl asks Rush with the goofiest grin across her face. I forgot she was even there for a moment. She sings all the damn time, he tells her. Just like a bird, I say, imitating one by flapping my arms as if they were wings. One of my other teammates changes the song on the portable Bluetooth speaker, and it's a Black Eyed Peas classic. I can't help myself and start dancing around the bonfire like a possessed woman. You can't possibly be drunk yet, Pearl comments, laughing at my dance. She's not, Rush tells her. That's her totally sober. I drink beer because I genuinely enjoy the taste and not because of any way it may alter my state. A girl like me is drunk on life. Everything I said was true. Regardless of my crappy home life, I'm just a genuinely cheerful person. I was born that way. I stop in front of Rush and try mimicking a dance I saw a little boy doing in a viral video. I do it because he thought the video was just as hysterical as I did. Seriously? He cracks a smile and slides his hand through his thick mane of chestnut-colored hair. You look like a zombie in a hip-hop dance class. This song reminds me of the 6th grade, I say as I continue to exuberantly dance. My grandmom bought me the album and didn't pay attention to the parental warnings. She just assumed they were a squeaky clean group. Rookie grandmom mistake. Yep, it was awesome. I pump my fists to the rhythmic beat of boom boom pow as Rush sinks down to the Florida sand and watches me in complete wonder. You're going to be completely wiped for the game if you keep this up. Never, I say, panting. Remember, Bichetti, I won our last 2-mile race. I gave you a head start. Not by much. My favorite part of the song comes on, and I start pop-locking my joints like I'm in a 1980s hip-hop video. Damn, you're like the Energizer Bunny, Pearl comments. Did your parents tell you about MTV when they were young? I ask them, slightly out of breath. It was like the only place they could see their favorite artists perform when they were kids. Isn't that nuts? My parents didn't watch cable, Pearl says. Rush? He doesn't answer at first. Isn't that wild? Yeah, he finally replies, totally ignoring me now and paying more attention to the texts coming in on his phone. Who's that? I ask him. Kayla. Oh, that's the pretty girl from California in the School of Business, right? Yeah. She's sending you dirty texts? Nah, Bird, she's not like that. I bet. I give him the side eye. All girls are like that when it comes to Rush. I once saw a girl wait 45 minutes to say hello and hand him a greeting card on Valentine's Day. It was the cutest yet saddest thing I've ever seen. Rush prefers words over cards. He thinks greeting cards are a waste of money. After the song ends, I plop down next to him, totally exhausted yet oddly invigorated. Phew! Gross, you're sweating. He pushes my head off of his shoulder. It's the heat of my ancestors calling to me. It's because you were jumping around like your pants were on fire. It's called dancing. If that's what you want to call that. You've got like 15 more minutes and then we need to leave. I've got curfew and so do you last time I checked. All right, Pawpaw. Then I stand again. But just one more dance. On game day, I complete all of my usual rituals. I brush my teeth for exactly 4 minutes. I wear my lucky pair of sunshine yellow panties. I lay naked on my bed for exactly 10 minutes and meditate with 4 crystals in the center of my chest. And finally, I make my pre-game phone call between me and Rush. The call is even more important today because I know I won't get to see his scowling face in the stands. When he calls, he only has to say a few words. I know what they mean. We've been saying them to each other since we met freshman year. World domination greetings, Mia. World domination greetings, Rush. Talk to you after you beat their asses. Affirmative. Then we hang up, and all is right with the world. This game is going to be epic. Your life can change in moments, even seconds, and no one ever told me. I probably wouldn't have believed them if they had. Our game against our conference rival is going fantastically as we knew it would. Our team is stronger and faster, and we have insane chemistry. But as I leap high to spike the ball like I have a million times before, my left ankle buckles when I land. Then my left knee pops. And then the most intense pain radiates throughout my body. And I cry out for God. I already know what I've done. I'm in my senior year of physical therapy school. I've completely torn my ACL. No doctor has to tell me. I can feel it. It's the injury every athlete most fears. The small crowd of spectators grows quiet as I lay in the sand, writhing in pain and watching my entire future disintegrate before my eyes. The smoke and ashes of a promising Olympic career up in flames, just like the beautiful bonfire I attended last night. I'll have to go back home to Philly, to a mother who won't be happy to have another mouth to feed in her home. Even worse, I'll be going back to a life of musicless, colorless, cold mediocrity. And for me, that's no life at all. 2. Mia. 4 years later, Northern New Jersey. I'm singing Adele's classic Rolling in the Deep, completely off-key, with the window down, arm hanging out of my sea green Prius like I don't have a care in the world. Because when you're singing that woman's songs, you must sing them with a full heart and a clear mind, or you won't feel the words where you're meant to feel them, in your gut. When I stop at the red light, there's a woman and a small boy who turn their heads upon hearing my powerful vocals and giggle. That's fine. I've never pretended that I was anybody's Aretha Franklin, but that doesn't mean you're ever going to stop me from singing loud and proud. I get it, honestly. My grandma was a second soprano in the church choir and couldn't sing a lick either. You could hear her from 20 pews back, but nobody gave a damn, particularly her. When I pull into my job's parking lot, My mood completely shifts. I turn Adele off and start feeling around the passenger seat for my cell phone. Somebody in that building has to call a tow truck right now. A visitor without handicapped plates, stickers, or tags is parked in my spot, and I'll be damned if I'm going to limp my ass all the way from the back of the parking lot to the front entrance. Mr. B?
That you, Mia?
Yes, sir.
What can I do you for?
There's some random car parked in the main handicapped space near the east entrance. No tags or anything. I know it's not technically my spot, but visitors wouldn't be parking in the east parking lot. This lot is for students and staff only, and I know for a fact that no one in my building has a physical limitation besides me.
It's probably some clueless summer student.
There are no other available spaces, Mr. B.
I can call the tow man, Miss Mia, but they're going to take an awfully long time to get here.
Ugh.
How about you just swing around the back of the building, park next to my truck, and I'll take you on up in the freight elevator,
Mr. B generously offers. I knew you'd have a solution. Perfect, here I come. Mr. Billy Hayes has probably been on the building support staff of Phoenixville University for over 25 years, maybe even longer than that. He knows each building on the campus like the back of his hand and is one of the sweetest men alive. I'm very lucky to work as a sports physical therapist at a university with such down-to-earth faculty and staff who care about each other. I park my Prius, which I've named the Green Goblin, next to Mr. B's truck, grab my messenger bag and my cane when he walks over to my car and opens it. Since I blew out my knee in college, I walk with a limp and sometimes need the help of a cane depending on how I feel that day. Today I woke up with pain at a level 4, and so I know I'll need my walking stick. But what I don't need are people making it obvious that I need that help. Of course, Mr. B is a 71-year-old grandfather of 3 who is old school to his core. There's no way he isn't going to hold every door open for me he can to help me inside. I have no choice but to accept his kindness.
Can I take your bag, Miss Mia?
Oh, and he addresses everyone with a Miss or Mr. before their name, no matter their age. He says that's the way people were taught to speak to each other in his generation. It's just his way. Thank you, Mr. B. As much as it pains me to hand over my bag to him, I do. I know that protesting would be a moot point. Sometimes you've just got to let a gentleman be a gentleman, no matter their age. That's one gem and jewel my grandmother taught me long before she passed away from ovarian cancer. Grandma's death was swift and pointless, and I miss her so much. I don't think my mother will ever recover from her loss either.
Did you hear the rumors, Miss Mia?
No, about who? I smile. Mr. B is always a good source for university faculty drama. Apparently, professors sleep around with each other much more than you would think.
Not who, but what? There's supposed to be some serious changes coming around here because of the tough economy.
This isn't fun news at all. Changes for who? I hope they aren't going to lay off Mr. B. He has a wife on dialysis, and his daughter plus 2 of those 3 grandchildren live with him. The last thing he needs is his steady income taken away.
Staff cuts. All the professors are worried something awful.
The university claims there will be budget cuts every year, Mr. B, but something always comes through, I assure him.
Hope you're right. We've been really lucky so far. Other institutions have seen complete programs wiped out.
I'm sure there's some rich Silicon Valley dude who's itching to give away some money to a worthy university. We're small but mighty, Mr. B. People have heard of us. A United States House representative attended here. The money will definitely come. I speak the words into existence because I need to. I'm behind on almost every single one of my bills ever since I bought the Green Goblin. Even though I bought her used, I made the big mistake of buying a car with money I thought was coming via our annual cost of living raise. But the raise never happened, and neither did a bonus, and now I'm up to my eyeballs in bills.
You're such a breath of fresh air, Miss Mia. I wish more folks were as positive thinking as you. You could give my daughter a lesson or two.
I don't have kids yet, though, I tell him. Your daughter is dealing with a lot of other things that just aren't on my radar yet.
True. Ain't gonna lie, my grandkids are a handful.
Both of us chuckle as we continue my slow trek to the freight elevator. Mr. B takes me to the second floor of the building and escorts me to the physical therapy office that I share with 3 other therapists.
I'll call the tow guy, but you can stay parked next to my truck all day. It's no problem,
he offers after handing me my bag. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
And you have a great one. Remember what I said. Things are going to be just fine. 3. Mia. I came to Phoenixville University during the fall after I graduated from the University of Miami with my physical therapy degree. Although PT was my major, becoming a therapist was never part of my plan. I always thought I'd be an Olympic volleyball player and then playing in professional tournaments in other countries, maybe later becoming a coach. I never imagined that I'd be stuck in a building all day helping other promising athletes with their rehabilitation at 25 years old. But I don't have the luxury of being a whiner, and so I had to make an adjustment to my goals and dreams.
You do the best with the hand you've been dealt,
is another Grandma Taylor gem and jewel I try my best to live my life by.
Morning, Mia.
Morning, Jacob.
Can I see you in my office?
Sure. I take a seat in my supervisor's tiny office and rub my knee while we talk. It's not unusual for us to go over the client's schedule for the day on a Monday, which is why I brought a pad and pen with me into the office. Who's on deck for today? I ask.
Mia, this is hard for me to say.
Jacob clasps his hands and sits them on the desk in front of his chest. My face drops. What's hard to say?
I met with the folks in the financial office last week, and they crunched the numbers over a dozen times.
What numbers?
For our department, our therapist-to-student ratio is low compared to our budget. It's one of the lowest in the state, and we're a small university. We have 4 therapists on staff, when in reality, 2 therapists could serve the same amount of students if we restructured our therapeutic model.
So you're going to move 2 of us somewhere else in the athletic department?
No, Mia. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you and Addison go.
I unconsciously clench my jaw. You're firing me? Although I've been on the PT team here for 4 years, I realize that I still am one of the last people hired. All the other therapists have been here much longer than me, including Addison.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You didn't even give me a heads up, Jacob.
I'm sorry, but the decision wasn't finalized until over the weekend. I was instructed not to say anything to you until then.
But you had to know they were thinking about doing this. I could have looked for another position. I have rent due. I have bills.
All I can say is that I'm so sorry. It's tough working for a small institution like ours. Change happens overnight, and it often isn't pretty.
He stares at me, massaging my knee, and I can smell the pity coming off of him. I hurry my hand away. How much notice are you giving me? His guilty little eyes drop to the desktop.
It's effective immediately.
What?
I'm sorry.
He keeps apologizing as if the words are going to soothe the sting of what is happening in this room right now. This feels like I'm being fired, not laid off.
I was able to negotiate paying you for the rest of the week. It was the best I can do. At least now you'll get paid while you look for something else.
My heart sinks. A week's pay won't even cover the back rent. And my health insurance? I have a consultation with a new surgeon coming up, and I still get regular therapies for my knee, but neither of those come cheap. My insurance covers most of the bills now, but without it I won't be able to get any services. Private pay costs a fortune.
Talk to Human Resources to verify, but I'm sure you'll get some sort of temporary coverage to tide you over until you find a more permanent solution.
This is a nightmare. It's not going to be easy to find someone willing to hire a physical therapist with a physical limitation of her own. It's just not done. My college volleyball coach, Dr. Lin, was able to pull some strings and get me a full ride into the master's residency program with Phoenixville after putting in a good word for me after graduation. The deal was I would enroll in their newly accredited master's PT program and simultaneously work as a resident my first year of school and then become a full-time employee while I studied to pass my certification exam. It was a great opportunity for me, and I've been here ever since. Luckily, it was a hop, skip, and a jump away from Rush. He was drafted to the Nighthawks straight out of Miami and owns a mansion in a wealthy Jersey township about 30 minutes from me. I don't think he bought something in New Jersey because I live and work here, though. Most New York ballers live in northern New Jersey because of the better cost of living and cushy suburban lifestyle. We were both just fortunate to have fates that merged in the same location. I just bought my car, I say, thinking out loud.
If I hear of another position, you'll be the first person I call, he says solemnly, and I'll be sure to write you a great recommendation letter.
Sure, Jacob. The tips of his ears turn a blush red.
I know it isn't much, but it's the best I can do, Mia.
My guess is that Jacob is genuinely upset that he's been the one tasked to letting me go, but it doesn't make me feel much better about things. I've built a life on the security I thought this job afforded me. To some people, I probably make a lot of money, but it's all relative because I spend more than I make. Case in point, I moved into a higher rent apartment to be closer to the university, which I'm behind on. I purchased the Green Goblin a few months ago because everyone in Jersey needs a car and it was energy efficient. And beyond my regular bills, I send money home to my mother every month. My mom is a textbook case of a woman who had a child too young and resents the baby she had with the absentee father. After he bailed, she never wanted me. At most, she tolerated me. The only genuine love I ever felt was from my grandmother. And now that she's gone, I'm basically a paycheck to my mom. My mom's name is Amanda, but people, including me, call her Mandy for short. She's an underemployed server who lives in my grandmother's house, which she has to pay the real estate taxes on or she'll lose it. She's late on the taxes every year, like clockwork. In her world, I make a fortune and should pay the taxes for her, but in truth, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm barely eking out a living at all, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let my grandmom's house go into foreclosure. Her home meant the world to her, so I send home money to help. Now I don't know how the hell I'm going to manage to do all of it. I limp out of Jacob's office and into the empty main therapy room. I have 2 calls to make as I clean out my locker and clear the hard drive of my work computer. First, I've got to get Billy to come back up here and take me back to my car. And second, I need my best friend to tell me everything's going to be okay. I need to talk to Rush.
4. Rush. Training Camp, Central New Jersey. I was drafted as a second-round pick to the New York Nighthawks right out of college, and I've seen a lot of drama in these last 3 years. But training camp is the most intense that it's ever been. There are 2 players who absolutely despise each other, and that makes for a great deal of tension on and off the field. It's not an ideal situation, especially when one of those players is a star running back who the team paid a lot of money for. We've just had our early morning drills, and it's time for a mid-morning break. I peel my jersey off and am removing some of my protective gear when I turn around to see what the commotion is. It's them. It started on social media, continued in practice, and now it's still bubbling over into the locker room. Proctor and Samuels are at it again. "What's up?" Proctor, the running back, throws his hands up and starts moving aggressively towards Samuels, an offensive lineman. You're supposed to be one of Alabama's finest, and you can't even see when the biggest man on the field is coming for your quarterback? They're arguing about a practice session earlier. It was your job to run the ball, Samuel says, in defense of himself.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?